Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is video number 2 of 5 ways to journal your faith. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my faith-filled junk journal. And it is just a journal made out of scraps, out of coffee-stained paper, and lots of love. And it has become a tool I have used to record my faith journey. If you've never made a junk journal before, it is simply a creative book made out of all types of materials. Brown paper sacks, old magazines, scraps of material, fabric, lace, just little bits and pieces of things that really don't fit anywhere else. But you know what? Here's the beautiful thing. When we add our faith into it, it becomes something so much more. It becomes a testimony. And so I want to share with you why I use my coffee journal, or how my junk journal, or how I use it. And it is simply, I'm using it to reflect my faith journey. I didn't want to get something perfect. I didn't want a brand new journal. I wanted something that was real, something that was created, something just like us. You know, God takes all of our scraps. He takes our stains and He takes our imperfections and He turns them into something beautiful. And so my journal is just a reminder of me that God is still creating something beautiful inside me. And I want to share with you how I use my junk journal. And it's kind of unique. And my family and my friends all know I am a coffeeholic. I've always got a cup of coffee with me. I love, when traveling, to go to different coffee shops. We have so many coffee shops in our town and in the nearby surrounding towns. And once a month, I always meet one of my girlfriends, and we meet one time a month at a coffee shop, and we just share what's going on in our faith walk, what's going on at our church fellowships, and we just share what we're learning and what the Lord's doing in our life. And so to do my journal, I order these little coffee rating sheets off of Etsy. I love these things, y'all, and because I'm such an avid coffee drinker, this is so neat to rate. You may be a food junkie and you love to try new restaurants and new foods. You may be an avid book reader, and so you can do the same thing with book journaling and the books that you're reading. Go to the library or go to different bookshops, and you could rate the books. And I know that they've got these things for like book rating sheets, the author, the date, and everything. But this coffee shop has the name of the cafe, the location. It has the ambiance of the coffee shop. Quality, you rate with the 5 stars. And it asks who you went to the coffee shop with. And what I love is it's got these little note places here and here below so that you can add a note. So this is where I add my notes about who I witnessed to or how I shared my faith or witness at these coffee shops. And so I am going to turn this around and let you see inside my journal. And I hope that it will inspire you to have a different type of journal for the new year. Okay, so here is my junk journal, and literally the cover and the back is just made out of scrapbook paper. And I kind of doubled over the scrapbook paper and made it a little bit firm. I cut out a picture of a coffee cafe, and I put Gwen's Grace Cafe, and just kind of thought that I would make it personal. And I added a trim, and you'll see why here in just a minute, that just to kind of give it the journal book feel. So far this is all just scrapbook paper. Inside, I folded over the edges of the sides, and I made a little pocket here in the front, and made a pocket in to put some little stickers in. And all of my stickers I just printed off. I found some different pictures on Canva and printed them out onto Avery sticker paper so I could just kind of put them in as I was doing it. I got some really cute coffee shop stickers from this Trust the Seeds, and I will link it in the description below. And these stickers in this book are all washi tape like stickers and I love them. They're so cute. I just had a scrap piece of lace, so I glued it on the edge. And what I did in the front corner, I love to write poetry, and so I wrote a poem on the front cover, and it says, "A cup and a calling. In every town, in every street, a tiny cafe, a cozy seat. A steaming cup, a gentle sigh, a moment to watch the world pass by. But here I sit with more in mind. I hope to share a heart to find. Beyond the beans, beyond the brew, there waits a soul that Jesus knew. One simple smile, one caring word can point them to the living word. So here I go with pen in hand to sip, to share, to take a stand. May every cup I stretch and rate record God's love that won't abate. A journal of coffee, faith, and cheer, brewing good news throughout the year." So if you like to do poetry, you can just write a little poem, put in your book. This book is about coffee shops and me witnessing to other people as I go out into these. It is fun to kind of journal at a coffee shop, to do Bible journaling, junk journaling. You can take your supplies in a bag and sit down at a table. If someone says, "Hey, what are you doing?" you can kind of share what you're doing. And before I go on with my next page, this junk journals are normally done with sewing with floss. I just kind of put a floss thread here for a bookmark. I'm going to get a little charm with the coffee cup when I find one and put it right here on the end. This is a no sewing. People normally get an awl and they will punch 4 to 5 holes and they will thread the floss to do their book. Instead, this is a no sewing, and I just staple down the very center of my book. This book will lay completely flat, and that is the reason why I signed on the book to cover up the staples that were going outwards on my journal. But this is a no-sew journal, and so all I did was just staple it together. So I kind of wanted to share that. In the very back, I also folded over the edges and then just created a pocket. I also found some old, some coffee shop photos that I thought that I might use as I'm journaling. And so let's go to page 1, and I want to share with you 2 coffee shops where I have been able to witness. And this is my first page. And I have a girlfriend that I met, and I went over to her town, and we met at a coffee bookshop, and it's called Chapters on Main. And so I take the name, and I use the little tiny stamps and just acid-free ink pad, and I just write the name of the coffee shop. And this was back in September, and I went with my girlfriend. And we just had coffee, and I rated it all. And what I want to share with y'all about this one is since it's a bookstore, they give away bookmarks. And so this is just the junk I used to do this page. Just washi tape, stickers. This is the little cup warmer that was on my cup. I cut it out and I used it. It was trash from my coffee cup, which I don't know if you can really see it here. I'm trying to see, but I just cut apart my cup warmer and did that. But when I was at this bookstore or coffee shop, there was an author, and she was getting ready for a book signing. And she came up to our table and she asked us, "What do you ladies like to read?" I said, "Oh, I love to read anything theology or Christian related." And I shared with her about my Christian walk. And so over here in my notes, I put, while talking about our faith, a local author came to our table and met us. I got to share my favorite Christian authors with her, and we both got a signed copy of her book. And this is the author here. She gave us a copy of her book. She signed the inside cover, so I took a picture of the inside cover. And I added a little picture of the coffee shop. It's just downtown on a main street. And so this is how I decorated my page. Again, this page here is just an old brown sack cut apart. The next time, and I think I've shared this before in my video, but my sister and I, we go bike riding every Friday morning, and we always on our road back home, we stop at a local coffee shop, and it's called the Olive Coffee Company. And about this page, here's one of those stickers that I shared with you at the very beginning of my book. I just made a bunch of stickers and I cut out. And this one had two girls, and that just reminded me of me and my sister. And I used my stamps again for the Olive Coffee Company. And my sister always gets a London Fog when we are at this coffee shop, and I always get a caramel latte. And this is the coffee shop that we always visit, and I just put Sister Time with the stamp. I put little coffee beans on there. Another scrap of ribbon that was not long enough to do anything with, but I don't throw away my scraps. And look how cute. Just take your hole puncher and punch holes and run lace down your page. It makes it just as cute as this page here with the lace, but you can do the same with ribbon. And so on this particular time, again, I wrote down what the atmosphere was. And this time I just left a little Jesus for the worker or a customer to find. It was so funny because we were about to walk out and my sister said, "Hey, look, there's a Jesus there." And I said, "I know, I left it there." And it was just kind of funny, but you know, down here on the notes, I put weekly stop on mine and Kim's bike ride, and I love my sister time. And instead, since she has the London Fog, I always get a caramel latte. So I added a little note, "You're the caramel," to my latte. And so that is just another page, but I like to give you 2 pages at least to see an example of what I did. Y'all, I literally took, this is just like a financial ledger, and it was not this green. I literally took the paper and laid it in a cookie sheet, a pan of coffee, and let it get brown and stuff. And so this page here, you can see there's a difference. This is coffee stain, and this is just a scrap piece of white construction paper. I've got brown paper sack. I believe I've got 68 pages in this journal, and it doesn't look like very much. So once a week, if I visited a coffee shop and I share how I'm witnessing or sharing my faith, this is just so fun. And I really want to encourage you guys to do this. And I'm going to turn back around because I like y'all to see my face when I'm talking. You know what? You don't need to be a preacher or have a perfect script. You just need to have a willing heart. God can use your creativity to touch heart. Maybe for you it's journaling or crafting, or simply just inviting someone over to have a cup of coffee. Or all you have to do, just share a kind word to someone. You know, when you're walking up to pay at the very end or something, you could just, you know, or whenever they're taking your order, just say, you know, "Is there anything I could pray for you about today?" Or if you were crafting and you're bringing your craft bag to a local restaurant or a coffee shop, you know, somebody could walk over and you could share. It's just kind of like when I was at the coffee shop where it was a bookstore, the author who was about to do a book signing came over to her table and just asked us simply, "Hey, what do you ladies like to read?" And it gave me a chance to share that, you know, I like Christian fiction. I like theology books. And so, and then other ways, whenever I'm checking out and, you know, sharing with my faith and just leaving one of these little Jesuses. And I'm sure y'all have all seen these little Jesuses. I got a box of these that I got off Amazon. Y'all, I love these things. I keep them. I'll keep them in the console of my car, and I'll put them in my pocket. And if I'm going inside somewhere, leaving them out for somebody to find. It could be if they're giving you your receipt and for the coffee, you know, write a little note on the receipt that says, you know, "Thank you so much for your smile," or "Your smile brightened my day today." So you don't need to be a preacher, and you don't have to go into your whole life testimony. Just share your faith or a kind word or an encouragement to someone. And you know what? Before I close, if you've been thinking about starting a junk journal, let it be one that reflects your walk with the Father. Fill it with your prayers, with your conversations that you have with people, special moments, just like I share with you one of my pages with me and my sister. There is nothing more special than time with your sister or your family member or a special friend. and just filling that time and just making a little note about it, something special, just like her favorite drink was the London Fog and mine was the caramel latte. I mean, just scrap pieces of stuff. And you can create that out of pieces of magazine papers or leftover ribbons. And it's just so much fun. Fill it with your faith walk and stories, pages that tell a story about how and what God is doing in your life and how He's shown up in your everyday. And who knows, your journal might just become your testimony on paper. It is something that, it's another heirloom that you could leave to your children or your grandchildren. And they could, long after you're gone, they could find your book and realize how their mother or grandmother journaled her faith and witnessed to other people, as simple as someplace like at a coffee shop. And so before I get off here, I just want to say a quick prayer with you guys. Father, thank you for the small moments that shine with your presence. Help us to see every cup of coffee, every conversation, and every creative page as an opportunity to share your love. Let our lives reflect your light in simple and genuine ways so others may see you through us. Father, these things we ask in your precious name. Amen. Friend, thank you so much for being with me today and sharing another one of my ways to journal my faith, and I hope that it brought some inspiration to you. I know it's a unique way of journaling. It's not your typical normal ways, but my question to you is, do you journal when you were witnessing or sharing your faith? And if you do, please put in the comments below and encourage your other sisters in Christ. How do you keep track of, are you witnessing? Are you sharing your testimony? How are you journaling? Are you doing that? I would love to hear from it. Thank you so much, guys. And if you enjoy stuff like that, please hit the like button. And I love hearing from each one of you. Until the next time, walk humbly and shine brightly.